Hey folks, it's Dr. G. So this is just a walkthrough video of our interface. So I'm going to assume that if you are watching this, this also means that you have checked out that email that I sent you. So just sort of keep that in mind, all right? So obviously the first way that you're probably going to interact with the class is to go to our courses Blackboard page. And you're going to notice that there is not a lot of stuff on the Blackboard, and that's on purpose because Blackboard's interface kind of sucks. So I'm doing things in a much more streamlined and easy way. So you're going to see my information, and then you're going to see a link to the email I just sent y'all, a link to our syllabus, and then a link to our various parts of our course schedule. It only goes up to week 6 because the rest of it is like on post-it notes on my desk. I'll get it done though, just takes a minute, all right? So that is like the first piece in terms of like how you're gonna interact with the class, right? But the next part, wow, my voice is cracking. So the next thing that I want to kind of walk you through is just sort of like the workflow for the class. So our daily workflow is you're going to check in at 4 p.m. and you are going to go on over to our course Google Doc, so our course schedule. So if we're on week 1, you'll go to the week 1 thing. And you're going to scroll down to the appropriate date and you're going to see a watch me video, and you'll just play that and it's going to tell you what we're doing that day, and then you just follow the tasks in order. We are going to be doing the class synchronously, which means you're going to show up at 4. I'm going to show up at 4. The only difference is we're not doing this on Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. We are going to be doing interacting with each other on Slack. And then also through like Google Drive. Sometimes we'll be interacting also on Zoom, okay? So there's that. So let me go ahead and then show you what our course schedule looks like, okay? So I'm just gonna click on our course schedule. You can also access it here. I'll do it the expected way, all right? So this is our weeks 1 through 3 of our non-binary studies course, right? And you are going to notice that there are some features that help you navigate this much more easily. The first is that on the left-hand side, you're going to see sort of this like table of contents where everything is like hyperlinked. So you don't even need to scroll through everything. If you're like, oh, that's right, like we're here at like Thursday, September 2nd. You can just poke on that and it'll drag you down to where you need to be. It'll drag you down. Anyway, so that's kind of the gist there, so you don't get lost. The other thing that you are going to notice is at the top of every part of the course schedule, you're going to see links to not only our syllabus, but also the course policies, our course Slack, which I'll get into in a second, our readings folder, and then a hyperlink to every part of our schedule. So there's really no way to get lost. And if you like save, say on your Google Drive, you like star this course schedule, you don't even really need to log in through Blackboard. You can just kind of go in through your like Google Drive and do it that way. Okay, so just sort of keep that in mind. All right. So there is that. All right. So I have walked you through the Google Doc in terms of how it works. The other thing that I should probably point out is that anything that we're reading is always going to be linked to the schedule. So for instance, if for homework, I'm like, hey, you need to read this thing, there's actually a link to that. So you don't have to scroll and find anything, okay? Related, if I am linking to a web resource or anything like that, it's linked into the schedule. You don't have to find anything. And then the last bit is that you are going to be participating in Slack. And Slack is just like this free platform. If you are a gamer and you're familiar with Discord, it's a little bit like that. But even if you're not familiar with that, it's fine. It's literally just a chat room. Okay, it's a fancy chat room and a lot of workplaces use them. That's basically the gist. And they're really easy to use. And the cool thing is, unlike learning management systems like Blackboard and Canvas, the skills that you learn in Slack can like help you in like nonprofits and workplaces that use Slack. And a lot of places use Slack, like Cleveland Clinic and various, nonprofits. It's cool, right? So the other thing is that when I ask you to participate in a Slack conversation, there will always be a hyperlink to that Slack conversation, so you can just click on it and it will take you to where you need to be. Now, so this is our Slack space, all right? So the course overview has like a written description of each one, but I'm just going to go through them really quick. Ask GPAT. So when you sign up, you're going to see all of these populating your left-hand side. So I want you to think about these as channels. And all that is just like organized parts of the conversation. I always hyperlink where I want you to go, okay? But you'll get a hang of it as well. So here are the channels. So if you have something to ask me, whether it's in class or not, think about this as a place to like both raise your hand in class, but also to like, you know, in place of email. This is a lot faster. Slack is a lot faster. I'll get back to you super quick. So that's what Ask GPAT is about, and I give you some instructions about how to use that channel, right? The next, which I feel like is the most important, is the Floof therapy channel. That is for you to share your animals, because come on, why not? Also, if I need to like get a hold of you, instead of clogging up your inbox, your email inbox, I am going to just kind of put whatever announcement that I have here in the FYI channel, okay? The social space channel, I know, that's a chicken nugget, riding a bicycle, wearing a cowboy hat and cowboy boots, and I'm not sorry. So anyway, this is where you're going to introduce yourself, but this is also like a place to just kind of, you know, talk to each other during class. I know that there's some classes where it's like, oh, you have to stay on task. This is not one of those classes. If you want to like be chatting with people in the social space, you can totally do that, but you're going to notice that the way that Slack is set up, it's intentionally creating spaces for you to talk in class, okay? There is another kind of important thing is like throughout the semester, if there are things you're like, hey, this is the thing that I'm learning about non-binary studies, just post it on the mood board, right? So these are like non-binary mood board, all right? And then the rest of the Slack channels are really, really simple. There is always going to be, for each unit, there are 7 units, a chat function. And that's the channel where in that unit, if I'm like, hey, like post to Slack, I'm going to link to this space, and it's basically us just kind of like doing in-class activities, sometimes homework, but mostly in-class activities. And then there's always a vibes channel for every unit, and that's where you're going to like kind of post your like end of the unit creative reflection. Okay, so that is Slack in a nutshell. Eventually, when all y'all get here, you'll see everyone's names, like everyone who's on Slack. You're going to be able to like see their stuff, right? So this is me, and you can just like double click on people too. I don't know why now it sounds like I'm making stuff up there. Okay, and you can like, you know, I can't message myself, but you would see something that says DM, right? And you could actually like direct message me. So just sort of keep that in mind. So that is super neat, right? So that is Slack. Okay. So the next thing then, let me go back to the workflow. There we go. So we've talked about the course schedule, we've talked about the course workflow, and then this is just what I talked about in terms of Slack, right? I just explained what the channels are and that kind of thing. If you would like to get into, one second, please. The other thing is that if you would like to get a hold of me, you could, you know, go ahead and get a hold of me in my office hours on Zoom. Do message me and let me know that you want to show up to my office hours, because I need to make sure that like I'm like, you know, that another student isn't there. It's a little different. You can always tell when the student is in someone's office hours, but it's a little different, right, digitally. So just give me a heads up. My office hours are on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9:30 to 10:45. And that, my friends, is the course overview. So I know it's a little bit different, this idea of us interacting in class by first kind of checking into our course schedule and then, you know, playing that video, right? Remember that the sort of, hey, this is what we're doing in class today videos are always going to be right here. They're going to be hyperlinked, and say, you'll just click play and you'll be like, oh, this is what we're doing, right? So you'll check out that video first to figure out what we're doing today, and you'll follow whatever it is that we're doing in order. It's really simple. Sometimes you'll be on Slack, sometimes we'll be doing things individually, but that is the gist, friends. So now you have a sense of how we're going to be having a synchronous remote course that is going to be not using Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. I'm sure that there are some folks that are using Blackboard Collaborate Ultra in ways that are super cool and like life affirming, but my experience is that being on video for that long isn't really conducive to learning and can be emotionally and intellectually exhausting. So we're going to do something that is actually going to free us up a bit more. Okay.